I've carried my father's ring around my neck for 20 years, a silver band with geometric engravings. I was 6 years old when he died, so I don't remember much about him. Just flashes. His laugh. The way he'd sketch on napkins at restaurants. But I remember the day my mother gave me his ring. I was 8. She pulled it from a small wooden box and said, "Your father wore this every day. He wanted you to have it when you were old enough to understand what it meant." I didn't understand then. I wore it on a chain around my neck and forgot about it most days. Until the afternoon, I saw a billionaire wearing the exact same ring. And everything I thought I knew about my father, about my life, shattered in an instant. Before we dive in, have you ever discovered something that completely changed how you saw your past? Or learned a truth about someone you loved that you never knew? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love stories about family, promises that span decades, and how one moment can change everything, please subscribe so you don't miss our next one. I was late getting back from lunch. I rushed through the glass doors of our Chelsea office building and took the elevator to the 4th floor. Elemental architecture occupied the entire floor. 12 employees doing high-end residential projects. Nothing like what was happening today. Today, we were pitching for the biggest project in the firm's history, the new headquarters for Armstrong Technologies. $50 million. If we won this, it would change everything. I stepped off the elevator and nearly collided with Anna, our receptionist. "Charlotte, thank God. They're here. Early." My stomach dropped. "Armstrong? Christian Armstrong himself. Gregory is freaking out." I dropped my bag at an armchair and ran to the conference room. Gregory, the firm's founder, looked like he was about to have a heart attack. Lauren, our lead architect, was frantically pulling up files. Tyler was adjusting the projector. "Charlotte," Gregory barked. "Water, coffee. Make sure everything works." I moved fast, set up glasses, started coffee, tested the projector. All in under 3 minutes. "They're coming up," Anna's voice crackled through my earpiece. The elevator dinged. 4 people stepped out, 3 men in dark suits, and 1 man in a charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than I made in 6 months. Christian Armstrong. I'd Googled him after we got the meeting. 52 years old, MIT graduate, founded Armstrong Technologies 26 years ago. Net worth, $3.8 billion, never married, notoriously private. In person, he was taller than I expected. 6'2" maybe. Salt and pepper hair, sharp features, intense dark eyes that seemed to take in everything. "Mr. Armstrong," I said. "Welcome to Elemental Architecture. I'm Charlotte Pierce." "Thank you, Charlotte." I led them to the conference room, poured water, made sure everyone had what they needed. Then took my seat in the corner with my laptop, ready to take notes. The presentation began. Lauren walked them through our portfolio. Our design philosophy, spaces that feel both modern and timeless, functional and beautiful. Christian listened intently, asked good questions, technical questions about materials, sustainability, structural integrity. Tyler presented preliminary concepts for the headquarters. 5-story building, glass and steel, open floor plans, natural light. Christian nodded. "I like the open concept, but I want quiet spaces too, places to think. Not everything should be collaborative." "Absolutely," Lauren said. "We can incorporate private offices, quiet zones." The meeting lasted 90 minutes. By the end, Gregory looked cautiously optimistic. "We'll review the proposal and get back to you within 2 weeks," Christian said, standing. Everyone shook hands. I walked them to the elevator. Christian was the last to step in. He turned back. "Thank you, Charlotte." "Just doing my job, Mr. Armstrong." The elevator doors closed. I went back to the conference room to clean up, collected glasses, straightened chairs. Then I saw it. A pen on the table where Christian had been sitting. Matte black. Expensive. I picked it up, turned toward the door. Christian Armstrong was standing in the doorway. "Sorry," he said. "I left your pen." I held it up. He walked toward me, extended his hand, and that's when I saw it. On his right hand, fourth finger, a silver ring, geometric engravings. My breath caught. I knew that ring. I'd been wearing the exact same ring around my neck for 20 years. Time slowed. My heart pounded. I reached up without thinking, pulled the chain out from under my blouse. The ring dangled in front of me, identical to his. Christian's eyes followed the movement, landed on the ring, and the color drained from his face. He stared. Not at me. At the ring. "Where did you get that?" His voice was barely above a whisper. "It was my father's." He looked up at me. Shock, disbelief, something that looked like fear. "Who was your father?" "His name was Colin." He took a step back, physically recoiled. "Oh my God." He brought his hand to his mouth, closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were filled with tears. Charlotte Pierce." "Yes, that's me. Do you know me?" "I held you when you were 3 hours old. I'm your godfather. I made a promise to your father 30 years ago, and I've been trying to keep it ever since." The world tilted. "I don't understand." "Your father and I were best friends. More than that, we were brothers. And I've been looking for you for 16 years. We stood in the empty conference room, me gripping the back of a chair. Christian Armstrong, billionaire, stranger, staring at me like I was a ghost. "I need to explain," he said. "But not here. Please, let me take you somewhere we can talk." "I'm working. I can't just leave." "When does your shift end?" 6. "I'll wait. There's a coffee shop 2 blocks south. Rowan's. Please." I looked at him. At the tears in his eyes. At the ring on his finger that matched mine. "Okay, 6 o'clock." He left without another word. I stood alone, my hand clutching my father's ring. What the hell just happened? Christian was already there when I arrived at the coffee shop. Corner table, 2 lattes waiting. I sat down across from him. "Your father's full name was Colin James Pierce," he said without preamble. "Born in Portland, Maine. Parents died when he was 16. Raised by his grandmother, full scholarship to MIT. We met junior year, Architect Society." I stared at him. "I don't know what to say yet. Can you continue?" "Colin was my best friend, my brother, the only family I had. My mother never mentioned you, never. I've never heard your name before today." Christian looked down. "I know. When your father died, I tried to help, offered money, support, anything. But your mother never accepted it. She didn't want charity. She told me she could handle it alone." "So you left?" "No. I kept trying. For 4 years. Called. Sent letters. Your mother refused every time, and she got annoyed at my attempts. Then, she remarried. Changed your names to Bradford. Moved to Connecticut. I admit I gave up for a while, but I always tried to reach her from time to time. Why does it matter? My father is dead. I made a promise." He held up his right hand, showed me the ring. "December 1994. Your father and I were 22, both orphans, both alone. We made a pact. We'd never be alone again. We'd be brothers. If one of us died, the other would take care of the family left behind. We exchanged rings that night. This ring I'm wearing? It's Colin's. He gave it to me. I gave him mine. I pulled my chain out, looked at the ring. So this was yours?" "Yes. Colin wore my ring. You wear my ring. I wear his." The weight of it hit me. Why didn't my mother tell me? I don't know. She wanted to forget. So she cut contact, and reaching directly to you seemed wrong without her blessing. I stood up. Too fast. Chairs scraped loudly. "I need to go." "Wait. I don't know you. I don't know why my mother never mentioned you. but she had her reasons, and I trust her more than I trust a stranger with a ring. Charlotte, please. Thank you for the coffee. I walked out. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in my tiny studio apartment in Astoria, staring at the ceiling, the ring clutched in my hand. Why had my mother never told me? I got up, opened the wooden box where I kept my parents' things, photos, letters, and at the bottom, a sealed envelope. For Charlotte. When you're ready. My mother's shaky handwriting. I'd never opened it, never felt ready. Tonight, I tore it open. Inside, a letter and a photograph. The photo showed two young men at MIT, both wearing rings on their right hands, both grinning. One was my father, the other was Christian Armstrong. I unfolded the letter. My dearest Charlotte, I'm writing this before the illness takes away my strength. Right now, I'm rethinking some life choices, but one that's particularly haunting me these days is the way I pushed Christian out of our lives. Your father and Christian were best friends, brothers. When your father died, Christian tried to help us. He offered everything, but I couldn't accept it. Every time I looked at Christian, I saw Colin, and it hurt too much. So I pushed him away. I was wrong. I was proud, and hurt, and scared. I took you away from the one person who loved your father as much as I did. The one person who could have kept his memory alive. Christian adored you. He called you Little Charlie. He's your godfather. He held you the day you were born. He would put you on his shoulders and run around the yard. He filled your life with books, even before you could read. He was a constant presence in our lives, always at Sunday barbecues, all the birthdays, Christmases, lunches, and family celebrations. He was there. He was your father's family. He was our family. And I pushed him away. I took us from him, the only family he had. I only know life has taken many turns, and Christian isn't the same boy we knew anymore. I can't reach for him now. What will he think? I don't want him to think we want something from him, that we're taking advantage of him. But he tries to contact us from time to time. The next time he does, if he looks for you, please, my love, give him a chance. For him and for you. You don't need to be alone. I love you always, Mom. I read it 3 times. Then I cried. Because I had been alone. For 2 years. Living in a shoebox. Paying off my mother's medical debt. And the whole time, there had been someone looking for me. My mother had stolen that from both of us. I looked at the photograph. My father and Christian. Brothers. I made a decision. The next morning, I called Christian's office. Armstrong Technologies, Mr. Armstrong's office. This is Charlotte Pierce. I need to speak with Christian Armstrong. 10 seconds later. Charlotte? His voice. Breathless. Hopeful. Can we meet? Today. After work. Same place. 6 o'clock. I'll be there. Christian was already there when I got to the coffee shop. Same table. 2 lattes waiting again. I sat down. Thank you for calling. Did you talk to your mother? He asked. My mother died 2 years ago. He looked genuinely shocked. Charlotte, I'm so sorry. Thank you. But I found a letter she wrote me. She explained why she pushed you away. She regretted it. She wanted me to find you. Christian's eyes glistened. I never blamed her. Grief makes people do things they wouldn't normally do. What happened to her? ALS. I spent 2 years taking care of her full time, watching her fade. So by the time she died, I'd already grieved in some ways. But the emptiness remained. After she divorced my stepfather, it was just the 2 of us in the world. And then, just me. That must have been really hard. I'm familiar with the feeling. You mentioned you were an orphan, just like my father. Yes, I've never met any blood relatives. I grew up in the system and got lucky to have an amazing teacher that saw something in me and kept guiding my way through school. She's the reason I made it to college with a full scholarship. But, unfortunately, she's been gone for a long time. I'm sorry to hear that. Did you never get married? No. I guess I just got used to being alone. I don't really let people in. Work takes up all my time anyway. About that, my mother wanted to make sure you didn't think we were gold diggers. She didn't want your money, and neither do I. Don't worry about that, Charlotte. Okay, I want to know about my father. Everything. Christian smiled. I can do that. I have stories. So many stories. And he did. For 2 hours, Christian told me about my father, how they met, how Dad had saved Christian from dropping out of MIT when Christian was struggling with depression, how they'd stayed up 72 hours straight, building a model, how he had been my father's best man, how Dad had called from the hospital the night I was born, crying with joy. He loved you more than anything, Christian said. He used to carry a photo of you, show it to everyone. This is my daughter, Charlotte. She's going to change the world. I don't remember his voice, only his laugh. He had a kind voice, patient. He never yelled. He was a problem solver, and he sketched constantly, on napkins, envelopes, newspapers, always building something in his mind. I pulled out my sketch pad, opened it to a living room design, mid-century modern, clean lines, walnut credenza, Eames lounge chair. I do the same thing, I said. Interior design. Christian stared. Charlotte, this is beautiful. Did you study design? I was at FIT second year, but when my mom got diagnosed with ALS, I had to drop out. Take care of her. She died 2 years ago. I never went back. Medical bills were too much. I'm still paying them off. Let me help. No. Charlotte, I don't want charity. That's what my mother was afraid of. I'm not taking your money. It's not charity. It's a promise I made to your father. My father is dead. He saved my life. When I was at MIT, I was attempting against my life. I was struggling at classes. I had a hard time socializing with those privileged kids. My life mentor had just died. I had no one. Colin found me one night, talked me down, made me promise I'd keep going. I'm alive today because of him. Helping his daughter isn't charity. It's honoring the person who gave me a future. I didn't know what to say. I don't need money, I said finally. But I wouldn't mind having someone who remembers my father. Someone who makes me feel less alone. Our Christian reached across the table, put his hand over mine. You're not alone, Charlotte. I've been here, looking for you, and I'm not going anywhere now. Over the next 3 months, Christian became part of my life. We had coffee every Thursday. He told me more stories, showed me photos I'd never seen, gave me letters Colin had written to him. He came to my apartment once, looked around at the tiny 350-square-foot studio I'd decorated with thrifted mid-century furniture. You did this yourself? He asked, genuinely impressed. It's not much, but... Charlotte, this is incredible. Your father would have loved this. He always said good design wasn't about size or budget. It was about vision. And you have vision. In November, Christian invited me to his office, showed me the plans for Armstrong headquarters. Elemental had won the bid. I want you to design the interiors, he said. Christian, I'm not a designer. I'm an assistant. You're a designer who's been stuck filing papers. I've seen your work. I want to hire you. Freelance, market rate. If it goes well, maybe it becomes something more. I don't have a degree. Neither did your father. He dropped out last semester. Didn't stop him from being brilliant. Talent doesn't need a diploma. It needs opportunity. I was terrified, but I thought about my father, about how he never let fear stop him from building something. Okay, I said. I'll do it. Weeks later, Christian invited me to the annual reunion of the Architect Society, class of 1994. They meet every year, 11 now. Your father was the 12th. They want to meet you. The reunion was held in a private room near MIT. When I walked in, 11 people stood up. Theodore Blackwood, MIT professor. Grace Hartley, biotech CEO. Julian Foster, venture capitalist, Priya Deshmukh, neurosurgeon, André Laurent, famous architect from Paris, Kenji Nakamura, robotics engineer from Tokyo, Rachel Goldman, Supreme Court lawyer, Omar Khalil, clean energy entrepreneur, Sienna Rossi, fashion designer from Milan, Dante Moretti, NASA astrophysicist, and Christian. Everyone, Christian said. This is Charlotte Pierce, Colin's daughter. You look like him, Grace said, voice thick with emotion. You have his eyes. And his smile, Theo added. Andre stepped forward. Your father was the heart of our class. We miss him every day. He talked about you constantly, Priya said. He said you were going to be an architect. He saw it in you, even when you were a baby. Julian said, we could never forget him. And now that we've found you, we won't forget you either. You're one of us now. They gave me a gift that night, a silver ring. Architect Society, custom made. With an engraving inside, Charlotte Pierce, Colin's legacy. You're part of this family, Christian said, whether you want to be or not. I looked at the ring, then at the 11 people around me. I'll wear it, I said. The interior design for Armstrong Technologies headquarters took 4 months. I worked harder than I'd ever worked. Mid-century modern throughout. Clean lines, functional beauty, walnut and leather and linen. When the building and decorating were finished, Christian walked through with me. Charlotte, this is a masterpiece. It's a space where people will create, where they'll build the future, just like your father wanted. He stopped in the main lobby, pointed to a wall, a bronze plaque. This building honors Colin James Pierce, Architect Society class of 1994, a visionary, a brother, a father. His legacy lives on in the spaces we build and the promises we keep. I couldn't speak. Tears streamed down my face. Your father deserved to be remembered, Christian said quietly. And now he will be. I didn't go back to being an assistant. Christian hired me for some other projects, which led to other people wanting to hire my services. I paid off my mother's medical debt in full. I moved into a 1-bedroom in Brooklyn with sunlight and room to breathe. I got back to school part-time. And every Thursday, I still had coffee with Christian. Some Sundays we would have barbecues at his place too, sometimes just the two of us. Sometimes friends from the Architect Society would come by. You know, I said one Thursday, I spent 2 years thinking I was completely alone. And now? Now I have 11 godparents who text me constantly, and one very persistent billionaire who keeps trying to overpay me. Christian laughed. You're worth every cent. I reached across the table, took his hand. Thank you for keeping your promise, for finding me. You found me, Charlie. You walked into that conference room wearing his ring. It was fate. Or maybe just your father looking out for both of us. I looked down at my hands. I wore 2 rings now. The original one, Christian's ring that my father had worn, on my right hand. My own Architect Society ring on my left. Do you think he'd be proud? I asked. I know he would. You're building beautiful spaces. You're carrying on his legacy. You're exactly who he hoped you'd become. 3 years have passed now. I graduated and run my own interior design firm, Pierce Design Studio, residential and commercial, hotels, restaurants, office buildings. I have a team of 6. Christian is still my closest friend. Coffee every Thursday without fail. He was the first person I called after my first date with my now boyfriend. And they adore each other, by the way. The Architect Society adopted me fully. I attend reunions every year. 11 brilliant people who've become my family. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. But I'm building something my father would be proud of. And I wear 2 rings. One that was his. One that is mine. Both reminding me, I'm never alone. I'm part of a legacy, a promise, a family that transcends blood and time and death. There's a photograph on my desk at work. My father and Christian at MIT. Young, hopeful, brothers. Next to it, a newer photo from last year's reunion. All 11 members, and me in the center. I look at the photographs, my father smiling at the camera, young, full of dreams, and I realize his story didn't end when he died. It lived in a promise 2 orphans made on a cold December night. It lived in a man who spent years searching because he'd given his word. It lived in 11 people who welcomed me because I carried my father's name. And it lives in me, in the spaces I design, in the legacy I'm building, in the rings I wear every day. My father died when I was 6, but his legacy didn't. It just found a new way to live, through promises kept, through families chosen, through love that refuses to die. If you were Charlotte, would you have trusted Christian immediately when he said he was your godfather? Or would you have been suspicious like she was? Tell me in the comments what you would have done. If this story about family, promises kept across decades, and how one moment of recognition can change everything touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful true stories every day. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next inspiring tale. Thanks for watching.